back there politicking. Look, I want to tell you that I'm really excited about what we're trying to do with APRI. I want to recognize our district director down there. I just saw John DeFazio. John. You know that we've come too far to let these guys try to steal the election right out from under us.
That's right.
And this is probably the most important election of our lifetime. And we've got people like Darrell Metcalf, who I'm ashamed to say is my representative because I live up in Cranberry, and Mike Turzai, who made it real clear what they were about. They were about trying to steal the election right out in the open. And while I was in the back, I was looking through some stuff that I happened to find on the internet today. And what I found is that Congressman Elijah Cummings has written a letter October the 5th to a woman named Catherine Engelbrecht. And he's asked her to explain herself. Catherine Engelbrecht is the chairperson or the head of something called True the Vote. T-R-U-E, the vote. And what True the Vote has decided to do is systematically put together blocks of names and have their people at the polls and challenge their right to vote. If that is proven to be part of a systematic plan to deny people their chance to vote, that's a criminal act. And I'll tell you what the Steelworkers Union will do. We will contact Congressman Elijah Cummings on Tuesday and tell him if he can get the evidence on them, we'll file the lawsuit. They ought to be going to jail for trying to steal democracy out from under us. And then we all know what Metcalf and Turzai tried to do in Pennsylvania. We know it when he was arrogant enough to get up and to say that voter ID will make sure that Mitt Romney wins Pennsylvania. Done. So they shouldn't hide behind anything. We ought to understand, and many of you in the room do, but there's a lot of people younger, of every race and every religion, who may not know enough to know that when they left John Lewis for dead on the bridge in Birmingham, he was marching for the right to vote. Dr. King didn't just fight for African Americans. Dr. King fought for everyone. He not only fought for the right to vote, but he fought for decent housing, decent education, decent health care. He fought for the right for workers to join a union. And we cannot, in 2012, let these people roll back history. We cannot let them set us back. Too many people were beaten, and too many people were hurt, and too many people were killed for the right to vote. And I got to tell you, it makes me livid. I have this thing that I tell our members. I don't know if it's because of the age I've reached, but I wake up every morning and I just sort of touch myself and realize I'm still alive, which I think is really cool. That makes me happy. Then I get up and I get ready to go to work. And if I'm in a hotel and I got to walk to the meeting, or if I'm at home and I got to drive to the office or wherever it is I'm going, between the time I get up and the time I get to where I'm going, I'm, excuse the language, pissed off. And the reason I am is you just got to think of the injustice that's in our society. People have to come to understand that lots of what's going on attacking our president is because we've still got too many people in this country that aren't comfortable enough to know that we've got a black man in the White House And he's earned every damn bit of that job. He's been the best president we've had. Let me make this really clear. He's been the best president we've had since Lyndon Johnson, of every party. He has accomplished more with not one bit of Republican help. You know, not one bit. I get so fucking pissed off. Back there. I got it in before the rep goes up anyway. But listen, the reality is this. These Republicans who are trying to steal the vote, literally, put that over there on that side. Then they got the millionaires and billionaires trying to buy the vote. You put that on that side. And you got our president who's just fighting going forward. Mark putting his head forward and just forward as he puts it. But they keep saying how many jobs were lost. And he never got below this percentage. For the first 6 months that he was in office, he was fighting off the results of the Bush agenda. And that result was 750 jobs a month we were losing. Just this week, just this Friday, yesterday, it came out that we've now created, since President Obama's been in office, 40 consecutive months of job growth. 40 consecutive months that have created 5.2 million private sector jobs. He's created more jobs with no Republican help in 40 months than George Bush did in 8 years. And then I also read something else this morning. That Mitt Romney on Wednesday night told 27 lies in 38 minutes. That's got to be a record. That's got to be a record. But there's so many places to pick from in his lies. You take the lies about his tax cut. And I don't mean to insult people that are what we call low information voters. People have to work really hard. They get up in the morning, all you got to do in downtown Pittsburgh is take a walk downtown between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning. You see the people that work all night, or people that go to work, stand around their buses, they got to take the bus for an hour, they work real hard, so they can't spend all their time like I do and some of you do, sort of wallowing in politics. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the information that's out there, this president has done more with not one bit of help from the Republicans. Take health care. Hang on for a minute. Take health care. One of the things that makes me use that language is that you've had the last couple of months where they've been running around saying that the president wants to take $700 and some odd billion out of Medicare, and that, in fact, they've had the guts to call it stealing the money out of Medicare. Well, you know what he's doing? Pretty simple. He's taking it from the overcharge that the insurance industry was doing to its customers. He's doing it by eliminating fraud. He's doing it by eliminating waste. And then he's taking that money and he's using it to close the donut hole for seniors to save them $600 a year on drugs. Now what will Mitt Romney do? He'll do the same thing, maybe, but then he'll use it to give a tax cut to the people that already don't need one. You know? It's up to us. It's up to us to be the truth squad. It's up to us to knock on doors. I said to Rich Fitzgerald in the back, I actually think that this voter theft, which is what it is, voter suppression, I actually think it's backfiring on them. The reality is that we're registering more voters. The reality is that we're winning it in the courts. But you know what the other reality is? They've shown their hand and people are angry. We have a right to be angry. You have a right to be angry. I have a right to be angry. Every worker has a right to be angry. Because when they steal your vote, they're stealing our democracy. And if the president wins the election, but by stealing the votes, we end up with the Republican House and the Republican Senate, they're going to spend the next 4 years trying to stop him from doing anything else again. And we'll need to stand beside him. We'll need to stand by him. We'll need to stand behind him. We'll need to push him forward because he's going to need the help. But if we do our work now, in the next month, it's actually a month from today, today's the 6th, right? A month from today, if we've all done our work, if we've stood in line, if we've voted, if we've brought people to the polls, if we've educated, if we've told the truth, if we've done all that hard work, we will win. And President Obama will get re-elected. And then someday we'll be sitting in our rocking chairs saying that because we worked so hard and we re-elected the president, we took back the House and we held the Senate and hopefully kicked Terzai and Metcalf's ass out of office eventually. And I tell you, oh man. When I drive back to Cranberry and I see Metcalf's signs, I almost want to turn off the road and run over his sign. You know? But we got to do this. One of the advantages of having a job like mine is I get to stand on a lot of podiums, and I get to look out at a lot of crowds. One of the things that scares the bejesus out of me is you stand up in these podiums and you see that the crowd ain't made up of spring chickens. You know, there's not enough young people in this room today. Okay? There's one there waving, so you're the only one. What I often say is I don't want to introduce, or I don't want to embarrass anybody by asking everybody that's under 30 to stand up and, you know, get one guy standing up. The fact is, there aren't a lot of spring chickens. But you know what? If we do our job, those kids will have a good future. If we do our job, those kids will have a good future. If we don't do our job, I'm going to finish by scaring the hell out of you. Close your eyes for a second. Think of waking up on the 7th because we didn't do enough. Think of waking up with Mitt Romney as president, Mitch McConnell as majority leader, and John Boehner as Speaker of the House. And think what they're going to try to do. As I said at the start, we've come too far. There's been too many people that made too many sacrifices. There's been too many people that were left on bridges for dead. There's been too many people who were left behind. Now's our time. Re-electing President Obama says something else that I think profoundly is very important. It says it wasn't a fluke. We mean it. And we mean to say that it doesn't matter to the majority of Americans that we have a black man in the White House. He's earned that job. We got to make sure we make that I don't want that in my time as president of the Steelworkers that we don't do enough. I don't want that during my time as president of the Steelworkers we let them steal the election out from under us. I don't want during my time as president of the Steelworkers that we let them buy the election from out from under us. That bus that's out in front says it all. We need to make absolutely sure that when it's over, when the votes are counted, we've made it really clear. You can't steal the election, we're not going to let you. You can't buy the election, we're not going to let you. And we're going to win the election because we're going to be out telling the truth about our president, our party, and our vision for the country. Thank you very much. The agency was going to give me the best deal with my voucher. Okay?
Go to the emergency room.
Yeah, well, Romney said go to the emergency room. That's what the expensive care is. So that this is a huge challenge for all of us.
That's right.